Morning people, welcome back. Right, so get straight into it. We've got a lot of time today. What I've decided to do, instead of taking the front subframe off and fitting the radiator, I'm going to fit the radiator while it's on the car so we can get our level. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to cut this off. We're going to chop that off, mount it on this side, yeah, and then we need to replicate the mount on that side, which shouldn't take that long. So once that's done, I think then what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop my tracking gauges on it, track it up, because this is the height we need the car to run at. So I'm going to track it up as it is, yeah. Then when we put the bottom ball joints on, we'll see how far out it's gone when we get it back to this ride height at 210. Right in. Swap into a flappy paddle. There you go. Beautiful. Right, let's get some bolts in this radiator. Just to see if we can get it to hold where we want it to. Do that straight in. I think I'm going to need to put the jack. Ideally, we want this corner a little higher because that is where my drain. The port for the breather is at the top. Breather? Ah, you know what I'm on about. You know what I'm on about, don't you? I don't know what I'm on about, but you do. So we reset that. Right. Oh no, because I want it slightly up. We'll go half a degree up, shall we? Just to help get the wind up to that corner. So that's half a degree up. So lock that one up. Lock that one up. So this side now is solid, so what we've got to do is make the other side fit. Yeah? So that now is solid, and you can see where I made the radiator shorter, so it literally just comes over the top, look. Because it was down to there, which is the lower half of this, and it's behind the front panel, so we weren't getting any air anyway. So we made it shorter. So now we need to make a bracket off there to there, same as, and we need to make this come down to there. Now I think this is just tube, yeah? This. So theoretically I should be able to cut it, squash it, drill it, and get the same effect as what they've got there. It's very awkward. I'm holding my phone upside down. Anyone ever tried doing that? You get all sort of like flummerexed, don't you? So we'll make this one first. I was hoping that we could have used this, but it's going to be too short. See? Let me have a think, see what I come up with. Right, so what I've decided I'm going to do, took some measurements, I'm going to jack it up where it is, leave subframe where it is, take the hubs off, put the ball joint droppers on, put the hubs back on and work from there. No point in me tracking it up, because I've got to put the rack limiters and the new rack black things on. I can't remember what they're called. Boots. So from that, we need to get the wheel, get it up, get the wheels off, get the hubs off, start from scratch. I've also got to check that the hubs have got grease in the bearings. So what we're going to do, we're going to jack it up, wheels off, brakes off, hubs off, and work from there, shall we? Right then, hubs are off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all of this. I don't know what it's covered in. All these joints need a refresh, bit of a clean. Check these out, make sure we've got them. The way you get your rose joints set is you have to make sure that you've got the movement where you need it. Because if you look, see it's maxing out? So it's only literally got that much suspension travel. So if we had it up there, it wouldn't have anything left to go. Yeah, so it's another thing you have to make sure. But in there, if you look at those, they're just spacers. They're not misalignment spacers. So when this is set to ride height, you've got to make sure that that rose joint is sitting vertically in between the spacers. So you've then got, instead of having, say, level 1 inch up, 1 inch down, if we were up here, we'd only have like 5 mil up and the rest is down. So that's another thing we have to work out. But yeah, always you're going to get cleaned. The ball joint nuts were all different sizes. 2 of them were loose, so that ain't going to help. But because this is recessed in, I like using these. These are your ARP ones, because they sink down really well, but you can get a socket all the way around them, see? So it's like the one this side, the nut was that big, shitty, you couldn't get a socket in. So it was literally just done up with like barely over finger tight. I've hammered the washer in, so I've got to get that back out. Well, yeah, right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to take these hubs apart. So, let's have a look at these. They're quite clean hubs. I don't think these are old. I think these were built new. So you got turn down CVs. There doesn't look to be any grease in the bearings at all, but they've knocked the seals in. This is a bone dry. So what we've got to do, we've got to try and get these out without damaging any of these seals. Yeah? Look at that. Your ball joints aren't set right. That one ain't far off, but we've got to take that off anyway to put the ball joint droppers on. That one ain't right. That one's alright. So we've got maybe a little bit loose, but I can guarantee your ass there isn't any grease in there. So, what we're going to do is, first of all, we've got to try and get these bearings out without damaging these boots. Oh, well, it looks like WD-40. Looks like someone's put WD-40 in there instead of grease. Best plan. If it destroys them, it destroys them. And these are just normal wheel bearings, I think. No, they're not. These are genuine Borg and Beck bearings. So these are expensive bearings. So if you brought the right bearings, just wherever you put them in, you can grease them. Which is quite lucky we found this out. Yeah? I'm hoping that these being new seals, they're going to come out nice. Oh, look at that. Not even a dent. Look at that. So, Borg and Beck bearings, they're not no Timkins, but they're, look at the bits of metal. You see this? That's coming out of the bearing. I wonder if you ran it with these bearings in. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to flush these. We're going to have to clean them, blow them dry, because we can't have any debris in there, can we? See what I can do. If it damages the seal, we're going to have to damage the seal. Not ideal, is it? Yeah, scrap. Nearly 8 people. Bearing's fine. It's got bits of metal all in them though. Oh, you'll see it. It's like see on that bearing. It's like the crown plating's coming off. Well, there's some sort of plating in there. I wonder if you ran it with these bearings like this. We'll flush them, see how we can get on with flushing them. Yeah. Come on. I've got some bearings somewhere, so I might have some of these seals. Well, actually, that one's not too bad. Right, so bearings all need flushing. Outer seals are good. Inner seals are shot. Let's just see if I've got some. Right, so I haven't got any. That one I've straightened it, so we can live with that one. This one, we damaged this. I've got an outer one with a good spring in it. So what I'm going to do is take the spring out of this one and put the spring in that one. Ta-da! And that can go in the bin. Miss. Right. So we need to split this. Split this. Look at that. Right, I'm going to smash all these out. Ready? People, so you've seen us build all this stuff up. So we've got the droppers on, all shimmed up, tops on, all shimmed up, put them together. I've put my ARP nuts in, which just fit a lot better. Discs are on the right side this time. Those are in. All we've got to do is put these on, so I thought I'd show you. Compared to the original, which is split, it's crack. These, I think these are ground.
They do look like ground.
Do they now? My son's been helping me.
Yeah.
Right, so give me some cloth, Connor.
Oh, yeah.
A little helper. Thank you. Spin that disc slowly for me.
This.
Yeah. Good. Wipe the rubbish out of it. Beautiful. Do you want to go and do the other side? Yeah. Then we're going to put this on. And then I'm going to torque them up as best we can without the brakes on. Now the CAD rack limiters now are solid, the small ones. So to fit these, you've actually got to split the rack. Oh, sorry, there. So we've got to take that off there, drop this in, tighten them up, put the new boots on, and then we'll see what she's like on the wheels with the droppers on. Yeah, because it's made quite a lot of difference to the angle of the bottom arm, which has sent the top of the shock up, and I've actually took all of that, wasn't there. Right, so what I'm about to do here is strip the rack out. Clamp this down to the table. You're best doing it this way. There's a flat on the rack. If you clamp it down, you're not going to twist this. Someone had caked that Loctite in there. So what I'm going to have to do is clean that off. And then we're going to just knock a tap in there to clean the shit out of the thread. And then we'll reassemble with this. Basically this thing just slides over that. It sits back here. It just limits the rack movement.
You can tell I run through the garden, can't you?
Yes, panting like a dog. Right then. So, from what you can see now, we've got the bottom ball joints things on. The suspension sits at a nice, happier angle because this is slightly lower. The brakes are not shimmed very well, so I've just had to re-shim the brakes. We've now got all of this preload, so there is preload on the springs now. That is more vertical, that is more horizontal, and we have only gained, this was what, 210? 210. We are, what about what? 218.
Is that 218? Or is it still 210?
218. So we've gone up 8 mil, but now we're fully preloaded, where there was none before. And the suspension is working in a much better orientation. And now we can just use these to adjust the height of the car for getting the corner weights, because that's what these are for. So adjust the heights now, just use these. Once you've got your preload set, well, ideally, if you want to stiffen the suspension up, you would raise that up and then lower the car down there to give you more preload. Right, so I'm not going to get into it now, Connor. So right, what we're going to do is just going to throw that radiator back on. Let's see how we get on from there. Right, so now the car's back on the floor. So we've got our joints in. So that's better. That's better. Got preload. We've got a lot more clearance here, so I can do what I thought I wanted to do, was make this spacer smaller, which will bring this whole unit in to try and aid getting rid of some of this angle in here. It's not much, but mainly to create clearance down there. So what I'm going to do now is just take the load off, drop this bolt out, and just have a look at this spacer in here. See what we can do with that. That looks good, solid as a rock. So I'll just knock that out. It's only Allen key and a 19mm. And we'll go from there and have a look, see. Right, so what I've done is that spacer in there. Right, I've taken 4mm off it and removed the 2.5mm washer. So we've gone from that with that angle there and that angle there to virtually square there. Turn it back. And we're virtually square there. Yeah? And a drop link is much straighter down to the bottom arm. And we're not going to interfere with anything. Because we've sent the bottom arm down, these two have come apart. And I'll never touch. Before, that was virtually right next to this, so we couldn't do what I wanted to do. And so anybody who's got one of these, take 4mm off that. Take the left side washer out. Not the right one, because that's sitting on a bearing. The left one, or the one nearest this. And you'll have much straighter suspension. Ta-da! Right, I'm just going to machine the other one. So it's the same. Drop it back on the floor. And I'm going to call it a day. So the front is nearly there now. Rack limiters, boots, bearings, ball joint droppers, squaring up the shocks, radiator mounts done. Right, Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.